Location emergency.
Sandy Hook School. I think there's somebody shooting in here at Sandy Hook School.
Right here in Newtown, Connecticut, the site today of a mass shooting, and this time gunfire aimed at elementary school children.
There's still shooting going on, please.
The majority of those who died today were children. They had their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own.
Connecticut, following in the footsteps of New York and Colorado, about to become the third state to pass a major overhaul of gun laws.
With a vote just before 2:30 in the morning, one of the toughest gun control bills in the entire nation heads to the governor's desk.
We did our job. We did it together. We did the best we could. And I think we did a good thing.
The new Connecticut firearm regulations, called the Bipartisan Task Force on Gun Violence Prevention and Children's Safety, were implemented on April 3, 2013, in the wake of the tragic shooting in Newtown, Connecticut at Sandy Hook.
The new law's most controversial parts established the first ever statewide dangerous weapon offender list, immediate universal background checks for all firearm sales, as well as significantly expanding the Connecticut assault weapon ban. The new law also bans the sale of large-capacity magazines and imposes strict restrictions on the use of those currently possessed.
A year later, the Lieutenant Governor Nancy Wyman told us the law has already proven to be a success.
So I really believe that. I believe that it has been working. People have registered their guns. Hopefully that what we see is, if they weren't working, I don't think our crime would be down as much. I think there's a large portion of the discussion now is quieted down, and people understand that there's freedoms for everybody, but it's more of a protection. Do we have a lot more to do? Yes, we do. We have a lot more to do. This is not a done deal.
The governor's office reported over 50,000 assault weapons have been certified within the first year. And over 38,000 gun owners filed declarations listing the number and type of large-capacity magazines they owned. Some declarations contained hundreds of individual magazines. The state had also issued over 2,500 ammunition certificates and received 61 eligibility certificates for long guns. These certificates allow the state government to track who owns the magazines, assault weapons, and ammunition within the state.
In addition, over 1,700 pistol permits were revoked for reasons including drunk driving, mental health commitments, restraining and protective orders in domestic violence cases, and 210 people tried to buy rifles and shotguns and were denied when background checks turned up felony convictions, undocumented alien status, and domestic violence charges. But Republican Deputy Leader Vincent Candelora said that these statistics and these successes are not telling the whole story.
There are people in the state of Connecticut right now that might own a pistol that has a 12-round magazine that is technically now illegal in the state of Connecticut. And these individuals might not even know that they are currently a felon because they failed to register that weapon. Because when you think of like an assault weapon, as we talked about, you think of a machine gun or even that AR-15, that military style. But that bill went a lot further and banned all sorts of guns that in your head logically you wouldn't think would be a banned weapon.
In Connecticut, tens of thousands of residents have failed to comply with a new law that requires gun owners to register all military-style rifles with the state.
I think the issue in Connecticut is that the gun laws that are currently been passed since January are very confusing. There's two different ways. People are looking at it as a way of civil disobedience because these laws are unconstitutional. And second of all, there's people who just don't understand the law, especially when pertaining to 22-round rifles.
And now what Connecticut is facing, and this is what I feared, is the deadline to register these weapons and make people law-abiding citizens have now passed. So people are holding on to these weapons, say, be it a pistol or a shotgun, that are now illegal, and they're now technically felons, and it's all inadvertent.
But Lieutenant Governor Nancy Wyman said that citizens had plenty of time to register their guns. In fact, recently Daniel Malloy expanded the time people had to register their guns.
You know, we don't want anybody to be called a criminal, but we need people to observe the law. And so now the law is that you cannot have or sell assault weapons in the state, and we believe people should have to follow that law.
What I'm hearing from law enforcement is that they're afraid to enforce the provisions of these laws in fear of they themselves or their communities being sued. For instance, if somebody is pulled over and has a gun on them, there's no provision in the law that allows an officer to say, show me your gun, show me the magazine, so I could see if it has a capacity greater than 10 rounds. If it does, it would be illegal. Well, an officer can't do that. If an officer does try to do that, they're arguably, because there's not a probable cause and there's no statutory provision that allows them to search, they themselves can be hit with a civil rights violation.
The Supreme Court came down and said that our law is legal. And this is a court that, in my opinion, is much more conservative. And Judge Roberts is a very conservative person. And he's saying that our law is legal in the state and that we're not taking away anybody's rights.
One of the arguments against the proposed bill was that it would damage the economy. The Shooting Sports Foundation predicted 1,700 jobs would be lost. In fact, only one company left, PTR Industries, and Connecticut only lost 50 jobs due to this new law.
We contacted PTR Industries to find out why they left. The following is what they said. PTR's decision to leave Connecticut was certainly motivated by economic reasons, but the politics are what made the matter more urgent.
The goal of the law was to restrict civilian purchases of many different types of firearms and magazines. However, some of the side effects of it, we feel, would adversely affect our operations, put our employees at risk.
The question that yet remains is how these new gun laws have affected Connecticut crime rates. Gun control advocates claim it has lowered them, and opponents claim the opposite. But with no clear data available, we just don't know.
After all the controversy over these gun laws, with the rallies at the state capitol, newspaper editorials, and the countless hearings, we've determined that the gun laws seem to have had a limited impact on Connecticut.
Job losses due to this law are under 100. There's been a minimal change in gun sales, and there is no indication yet that violent crime has been reduced.
As the debate rages on, we look towards the future to see what impact this law will have.
They're gonna pry these guns right out of my hands when they come to take them away. I believe in the rights that my fathers gave me when they signed the Constitution that day. No misguided president or crooked politician with a greasy pocket be spared. When the hard-working man gets tired of your cry, it's gonna rain wrath, beware. Don't tread on me, I'm American free. You're not gonna take it away. I stand up and fight for my freedoms and rights. That's a price you'll have to pay. Don't tread on me, I'm American free. Red-blooded to the core. You ain't ever had a fight in your life like a fight that you'll